Ha ki roto, ha ki waho. Kia tau te mauri e kokiri nei, I ngā piki me ngā heke, ko te rangi Māori e taku e rapu nei, tihei,
Hey,
Kia ora. Let's begin the presentation.
This week I had an intake session for a new client, Marta, along with her cousin Missy, and I would like your collaborative support in order to enhance the service I offer them. I assume you've taken the time to read the client bio above. We intend to ensure mana motahaki is at the forefront as we work in partnership with Marta and her whānau, creating space for their autonomy to guide mana enhancing goals and kaupapa Māori options in our service.
Seems to me that Mata is a beautiful, damaged soul who has experienced very deep and complex trauma throughout her life. Initial goals for therapy include building self-esteem and self-confidence, reconnecting to her whānau and culture, and learning to trust others. The therapeutic process will be informed by the principles of Te Tiriti o Waitangi, in particular self-determination or autonomy and mana motahaki. We also have ethical obligations that underpin our work as counsellors, particularly the NZAC Code of Ethics, Section 5.
In order to make informed decisions regarding Mata's care, some assessment tools will be used to make further evaluations and help us to develop a plan for therapy. While the initial intake covered some of the Hayes addressing framework components, we did not want to overwhelm Mata on our first meeting. We could also consider the hui process to acknowledge the bicultural aspect of Mata's lived experience.
Let's keep in mind the Meihana model as we go forward. As a Māori woman, Mata has been affected by ngā hau e whā, racism, marginalisation, migration and colonisation. The Meihana model guides us to understand the systemic and societal influences on Mata, ensuring all relevant elements are incorporated when we create our case conceptualisation. As colleagues, we will hui to discuss the collaborative approach to Mata's treatment underpinned by the confidentiality ethics in section 7.4b.
Biculturalism. Mata exemplifies many issues that come from being a bicultural woman living in a multicultural country with her Pākehā father and Māori mother, plus multicultural influences to consider, such as the colonial influences of the orphanage where she was brought up and the urban environment where she's been living on the streets in Wellington.
She's really experienced the whanaungatanga that comes from a sense of belonging. Jury 97 asserts that secure self-identification as Māori contributes to optimal mental health and can be developed through knowledge of whakapapa and access to te ao Māori through whānau and whenua.
The pūtangitanga would help Mata strengthen her sense of identity as she migrates between the European influences of her upbringing, the multicultural urban influences of her adult life, and the Māori culture she is reconnecting with at present.
It may also support us as counsellors to frame our helping style as we move between Mata's cultural worlds to meet her unique needs. This supports outcome 4 of the Whakamaua Māori Health Action Plan by supporting Mata's fundamental right to her cultural identity.
Taha tinana. Mata's physical well-being cannot be ignored. Ethically, we are obliged to promote her autonomy, safety and well-being and refer to her to other services where specialised help is needed.
It will be essential to collaborate closely with Mata and her supporting whānau, seeking guidance from them at all times to ensure autonomy for Mata and tino rangatiratanga in the delivery of our services. We know that pai order relies on the interconnection of whānau order, wai order and Māori order, and it is common for mental health challenges or trauma to present as physiological problems within the tinana.
It's been a long time since Mata has felt aroha and awhi from others. She has traumatic memories of physical care, racism and neglect throughout her life. She also has sexual intimacy issues which she may wish to address through counselling.
Mata is likely to need help in advocating for her physical care in culturally mindful ways so that she'll be treated compassionately, particularly if she decides to try medication to support her physical or mental well-being through Western Orongo Māori approaches.
Taha whānau. Given much of Mata's trauma seems to stem from her disconnection from her whānau for most of her life, poor treatment by caregivers when she was a young person, and a lack of self-identity, a whānau-centred approach is recommended. Whānau-centred practice encompasses more than just the inclusion of Māori values and customs. Similarly, whānau-centred practice does not exclude using a wide range of therapeutic tools. Working with Mata, it will be essential that we ensure she feels comfortable with our approach, and clinicians must not make assumptions about her beliefs and values. Involving elders and/or kaumātua in her care planning is encouraged. Sessions could take place on her marae or her choice of safe space. It would be useful for Mata, with her whānau's help, to create a genogram. This framework will give her an insight into generational patterns and behaviour and help her to feel a sense of identity and belonging, which links to her treatment goal of building self-esteem. This exercise aligns with whakawhānaungatanga. The question, who are you, is at the heart of this model. It is also recommended that we utilise mahi a atua, which is a process using Māori creation stories, or purako, to provide a matrix through which clients can explore challenges. As Mata has had negative experiences with Pākehā authority figures and systems throughout her life, and has felt the impact of colonisation, marginalisation and racism, working with her in this way, away from the clinical gaze of Pākehā health systems, will help to build a therapeutic connection. Using a whānau-centred approach will increase the quality of the connections made between counsellor and client. The overarching philosophy of whānaungatanga aligns well with Te Tiriti o Waitangi principles of partnership, participation and protection in the NZAC Code of Ethics section 5.2. This approach would empower Mata to learn more about her heritage and help her understand her place in the world.
When considering Mata's wairoa, the first consideration is her current state of waiora. As with Rose Perry's Te Whiki model, Mata's eyes possibly indicate an energy block in her whatumanawa. She's been denied the opportunities to be emotionally expressive, particularly in grieving her losses, and seemingly lost all those whom she loves and trusts. Revisiting these moments will be confrontational, but under the right supervision, should allow her spirit to heal and her energy to reconnect to the dimensions that she's been isolated from. Tōhunga o kaumātua may be able to use rongoa to help restore balance to Mata's life force. One of the limitations I see is the possible spiritual incongruence between Mata's Christian upbringing and the kaupapa of her iwi. Whatever happens, we need to be mindful of not overwhelming Mata with expectations and not to whakaiti any of her past or present beliefs. The mauri of her awa has the potential to heal and reconnect Mata to whānau, whenua and whakapapa may help to heal Mata's mauri and wairoa. It's important that our approaches are made in accordance with the kaupapa of Mata's iwi. Utilising iwi and whānau is essential. Mata's immersion in te ao Māori for us would mean flexibility and being attuned during her healing. Mata's pauritanga needs to be validated once she has identified her position on the life continuum, and seeing herself through a different lens may help her gain perspective on a human situation in relation to the natural world, specifically te ao Māori, and that she has a purpose. Reigniting Mata's identity as Māori and being respected as kuia among her people will give to her the life she deserves. Mata needs the opportunity to express her emotions, to rightfully live as Māori in all respects.
Taha whenua. Dilla teaches us that many Indigenous cultures live in harmony with nature as part of their identity and collective ethos. In te ao Māori, whenua is integral to a person's identity and spirituality. Māori are Aotearoa's tangata whenua, with connections to ancestral land through whanaungatanga and whakapapa, with the belief that every living thing has mana in Māori. Yet Aotearoa's colonisation means generations of Mata's whānau have experienced trauma and grief from losing their language, traditions and autonomy. Studies show that forced assimilation to a colonising culture results in low self-esteem and a wounded identity. Jerry says we have a duty to put people in touch with their Māori and tribal origins. Mata was plucked from the heart of her whānau and whenua, like the metaphor of removing the pito from the harakeke she shares her name with. She has experienced trauma away from her tūranga waiwai, so the foundation for her hauora is not solid. Ethically, we need to increase the range of counselling choices and opportunities available to Mata and her whānau in ways that are meaningful to them. We should consider options that strengthen Mata's connection with pūrako, whakapapa and whenua, therefore increasing her sense of whanaungatanga. Mata has an innate potential to heal both from the land itself and from narrative connection to her land, so I support both an individual and cultural narrative approach to help Mata rediscover strength from re-establishing her connections with Papatuanuku and Whakapapa. We could support Mata's connection to whenua through kaitiakitanga, as Mark et al. Recommended, perhaps counselling among nature or even on her family land, where she feels safe and the Māori is conducive to healing. Mata can recall childhood memories of listening to the whisper of the forest, swimming in the awa, and of her emotions being released when returning to the marae for Makareta's funeral. She gets a sense of coming home when she returns to her tribal land, and the value of this cannot be underestimated. Mata may also benefit from rongoa Māori or from helping with the collective mahi on the marae.
Taha Hininaro. It is through the relationship with the client and the kanohe ki te kanoe connection that clients can grow and improve. This aligns with the NZAC Code of Ethics value of partnership and a collaborative working relationship in Article 2, Tino Rangatiratanga of Te Tiriti o Waitangi. Taha Hininaro is about the mental health and includes thoughts and feelings, ways of thinking and communicating. When taha hirinaro is strong, expressing feelings and getting support from friends or whānau is easy because you can cope with life. It appeared that Mata had damaged her taha hirinaro because all the other taha had not been tended to. This affected her mana and she expressed few feelings or emotion. Rose Perry believes that it's important to express our emotions to help relieve stress and called this ronga whatamanawa. Kitty Prentice said that mana relates to a person's vital life force or mauri in their spirit or wairua, and where tikanga conventions are infringed, then a person's hau or vital essence is harmed. It is only when taha tinana, taha wairua, and taha whānau are attended to that taha hirinaro can start to repair itself. Kitty Prentice said that values of tika, pono, and auraha were essential to care, as well as whanongatanga, to help form connections, and manakitanga to help uplift mana and Māori, changing a person's feelings to Māori ora. Mana's adoption contributed to the feelings of low self-esteem, helplessness, and takahi mana, diminishing her wairua and Māori. Tikanga-informed counselling seemed the best approach to help Mata, as it had many of the values of trauma-informed care, but also incorporated the Māori cultural perspectives. Mata recently visited the marae for a tangi. It was here she seemed to connect with her Māori heritage and started wailing when she walked through the wahoroa. Mata could benefit from marae visits with their traditional pōwhere, karakia and moata to start whanongatanga back to her whakapapa. Other healing interventions could include mirimiri, mahi atoa, mindfulness practices, positive affirmations, and verses from the Bible.
Thanks, team. We've explored a broad range and a robust range of options to help Mata and compiled some suggestions in the table above, which we'll email to you after this hui.
The case conceptualisation slide is this slide. Please take the time to read it.
Let's close the meeting. Tū taua mai I runga, tū taua mai I raro, tū taua mai I roto, tū taua mai I waho, kia tau ai te mauri tū, te mauri ora, ki te katoa, haumie, huie,
Yeah,
kia
tai ki. Kia ora, team.
ora.